A little summer update and tell you where we feel like we're at right now. It is really good to have everybody back for what's known now as summer access. What that means is as long as you're in school, in academic classes, then you can work out with the team and be instructed by our strength staff and our coaching staff in the conditioning and weightlifting and quickness drills that we do. So that's what the term summer access means. It is really good to have the newcomer freshmen there too. It's a class I'm really excited about. Looking forward to when you look at it. We got a quarterback in Jordan Travis. Jordan had a really good year a year ago. The kids tell me that he has a really strong arm and can really throw the ball. He's a very mature young man. His brother's a professional baseball player, so he's been around it a lot. And our thoughts are we need to prepare him to get ready to play this fall, simply because you never know when you're one play away from the next quarterback up. So, and as we've seen in years past, it's a long season, and you might need a guy like Kyle to come in like he did the one year and win the game, last game of the year. So he's got to prepare for it, get going, and work. But I'm excited about him, simply from a athletic standpoint. He's very athletic and had a very good coaching in high school, and I think he'll do a great job for us. In the running back, guys we have in, Hassan Hall and Javian Hawkins are both really fast. It's great to watch them in our quickness and speed drills and see how fast they are. They wanted to line up and race them and Tyler Harrell, and obviously we shut that down right away. We don't need anybody pulling a hamstring trying to see who the fastest guy is. But they have the type of speed that should make a difference for us, guys that can take it all the way. Hassan's also got great size, and his junior year he played a lot of running back, carried the ball a bunch. His senior year he started also at safety, and our defensive coaches wanted him over on defense too, so he's also got great toughness. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he works into the rotation and how he gets going. Javian's a little smaller and needs to gain weight to pass protect. That's the basically thing for him, is his ability to get stronger and gain weight to be able to pass protect. As far as wide receiver goes, we got Tyler Harrell and Marcus Riley here. Tyler ran a 20.8 200 meters, won the state championship in Florida. They tell me that's world-class speed, and that's really fast. That's the fastest I've ever had. We just got to see it show up obviously on the football field. But the thing that I've been impressed with him when you see that speed is to think that he's a straight line guy, straight ahead guy, but he's not that at all. He's very athletic. He's got good hips. He can change directions, which was great to see. Marcus Riley reminds me a little bit of Harry Douglas on his movement and his changing in directions and body type. He was another young man that played quarterback in high school, much like Will Gay did. When Will came here, we weren't sure whether he was going to be a receiver or a corner for us. But Marcus, has been committed to us for a long time out of Tallahassee, Rickards High School, just like Colby Smith and Will Gay. So we're hoping he comes in and has that type of impact on our program. Adonis Boone is the addition to the offensive line. Adonis is 6'5", 282. He got to us a little bit later than the other guys because he had a graduation date that was later in the week. But he's very talented. He's got the size that you like. He's got tackle length, so his arms are long, and he's athletic. It's going to be nice to have a good young tackle that we can bring along and develop. And I think when you look at our recruiting, which we're going to get to later, but we got 3 seniors on the offensive line, so obviously that's a real important position for us. In the secondary, Marlon Character, Telly Plummer, and Trinell Troutman are all new. Character's been very interesting to watch. His movement, his size, his maturity. He carries himself a little bit different than everybody else because he went to Auburn out of high school, then to a junior college, and then here. So he's very committed and dedicated, and I think he'll be a guy that has an impact in our secondary. Not sure exactly where yet, but just watching what he does, I think he'll have an impact in the secondary. Strong, physical, like I said, more mature. And then at the linebacker spot, Yasir Abdullah and Thurman Gathers. Thurman we recruited. He was a really rush defensive end, but obviously can play outside linebacker, defensive end in nickel situations. He's got to get a little bit bigger. Yasir's another guy that I really like his speed. As a linebacker, he ran 10,600 meters, and he's already gained weight since he's been here. He's up to, I think he told me today, 217 pounds. Which I think he came in under 205, so that's a really good job of working hard, and our nutritionist helps that. And some of these guys haven't ate the 3 or 4 type meals that they are, so they gain weight quickly. I remember Gary Barnage, when he came in, he was 210 pounds. By the end of the first week, he was 218. So it's one of those things where you get the training and the meals and the nutrition and the calories. Some guys gain weight right away. We need one to lose a little, and that's Des Dumerville. He's big guy, and he's working on that. And then also Alan Love has been very impressive as far as his strength and size, and watching him lift in the weight room. He's been doing that for a long time. He's 6'2", 290, inside defensive tackle that I think, as you look at it at our depth and you say, hey, we got to prepare him to play right now also. But I like the class. I think the combination of size and speed is something that's really good, especially when you add it to what already came in January, because those guys that came here in January did well and performed well in the spring. So I think it was a really good recruiting class. As far as our health goes and injury update a little bit, Jalen Smith is back doing everything. He got cleared a little while back, and so he's got some ways to go as far as getting rid of the atrophy in his arm and, getting the strength back in that arm. He's been doing a lot, even when he was in a cast, as far as running and one-arm lifting and all that. But this gives him a lot of time, a good 2-month period to get ready for the season. So that's good to see. Colin Wilson's been participating full go and everything, and he's been working hard to get some of that freshman baby fat off of him and change his body and lift really hard and thin out. But he's another guy that really moves well. It's good to see him moving the way that he's moving. Jared Goldwire, who was one of our big defensive tackles we brought in mid-year, who came to us with a shoulder injury. They operated on it, and he's doing really well. He's getting his strength back. He's full go and everything. I wish we would have saw him in spring. Did put him a little bit behind, but he's smart and experienced guy. So, another 6'6", 300-pound defensive tackle. So I'm looking forward to seeing him when we start practice. But it's great to see him back at full speed. PJ Blue's full speed going. He's getting bigger. He's up over 221, 222 right now, and he came to me about making the move from safety to linebacker to be faster as a linebacker and maybe a different flavor as a linebacker. And the only issue there was getting to the weight that he needed. But he's very dedicated and is really looking forward to competing at that spot. Keon Wakefield's full go. He was full go in spring. He's doing great. Devontae Pete is full go. It's good to see Pete back out there. He was a good leader for our team. Obviously voted 2-time special teams captain, so he provides a lot of energy. So he's doing the same thing in the weight room. He just takes charge and helps everybody else get better. So that's something that's really good. Day Williams is working hard. He's not exactly full go just yet, but we're very optimistic everything will be good and ready to go prior to opening up camp. I think that's the big key, is that it's prior to, so that he goes through the aches and pains before we ever start practice. I think that's something that's always important. But we're excited about our recruiting. I like the way it's been going. One of the issues that we are fighting with is the amount of scholarships we have available, because we have a really small senior class. But we've had some great visits here. We decided to have some official visits in the summer, which is really new, really different, a little bit juggling and hard to manage, because you just got the new freshmen in here and you're interested in working with them, and then you got an official recruiting weekend, so every wife is mad at me, and I don't blame them. You know, the guys are working every day and night, and Friday night and Saturday, and recruiting, so it's really different. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of it or not. I think what we tried to do is be select on who we brought in, and I think it was good for their parents. That's the biggest thing that helps us a little bit, is you can get their parents and make it an official visit, fly their parents in with them, and get them on campus. And everybody else that comes in the spring and the summertime is doing it on their own expense. So I think that's the one thing. And I did like the crew that we had in there. They're very talented, and it was fun to see. But we've had a number of our recruits and players go through our new facility, the one that we're working on. It's exciting for them to go through there and just see, the size of everything, the weight room and locker room, meeting rooms. I think it's pretty cool, and we're getting anxious to get out of the PNC and get into the new facility. Hopefully we get that done here in the middle of July so we can get organized and get ready to open up practice. With that, I'll just open up for questions.
Coach, have the current guys been able to see it, and how anxious do you get that they are?
There's only been a couple, I think, of our current players that actually have went in there, and they did that as host for official visits. They were hosting a guy, and they kind of snuck in there with them. But the word's been out, and they're really excited about it. Another big part of it that y'all saw was the Players' Lounge is something that's really nice and a place that's comfortable, and they spend so much time in the facility that's a place where they can relax and get away from the grind a little bit and catch a couple hours of sleep if they need to, watch a movie. I know none of them play video games anymore, but some of them would do that if they did still play video games. I don't really get all these video games, but man, that's a popular thing.
What are your biggest areas of comfort, and what are your biggest areas of concern?
Yeah, I think when you look at it going in on offense, the comfort where I feel like we should be good and experienced and have guys that have shown they know how to play the game is obviously the receiving group, the tight ends, and the offensive line. We're very new at quarterback, although I feel good about it because he's been here for 2 years, and he's worked extremely hard at it. And I was really happy with the way Malik played in the spring game. I think once we made it live tackle on Malik, that things got different. But also, he made great improvement throwing the ball throughout spring. I mean, really, really good improvement throwing the football. And, he's getting bigger and stronger. I think that'll continue to go. Running backs is always kind of because we got guys coming off injury. I think it's going to be a good group. And I really like, what Trey Smith did in spring and the addition of these freshmen, but it's unproven too. We lost guys that, made plays there, and these guys are all new at it. And I really like what I see from this secondary group. I think there's going to be great competition there at the corners and the safeties and the nickel spot, and, I think they're going to have to work extremely hard to get on the field. And, the addition of character really helps us. Rajay and PJ are looking bigger and stronger and faster. D. Smith is doing a really good job of leading. Kane Pass is working harder than he's ever worked. So it's a good chemistry in that room, and they're all working hard and believe in each other. Dorian coming back at linebacker and C.J. Avery doing well in spring gives you some comfort there. But I think that we got to have some guys step up and compete. Robert Hicks showed he can do it in spring. P.J. Blue, obviously, is a guy. And I think Yasir Abdullah is going to be a guy that plays early. He's just so fast and athletic for being fast like that. And then the D-line is just a matter of getting them all together and on the right page. We're going to be bigger and stronger there. But it is inexperienced besides Jonathan Grenard and, Gigi Robinson. Even Tabarius Peterson, has been here, but he hasn't really played a whole lot at that position. So it's an inexperienced group. But the competition and the size and, what they're going to be able to do is something we got to get figured out quickly in camp, so we know the rotation and who's in there to rush the passer.
Bobby, on defense, you spoke a lot last year about Jair, how strong he looked when he was in there, and how much of a difference it was when he wasn't. Now that he is gone, how do you go about retooling there?
Yeah, well, Jair was just such a great personality. He brought everybody to a different level, and he was smart enough to know when he was encouraging people, and the chemistry helped, and when to tone it down a little bit. He was just really good at that. Made everyone around him better. That's what special players do, much like Lamar did on offense. So I think it's a little bit yet to be seen. Obviously, Dorian Etheridge and Jonathan Grenard feel like they're working to take over the leadership role like that. I don't want Dorian to stress about it too much. I think he needs to understand I'm going to lead by being the leading tackler, being hard to block, playing my job real well, not worrying about getting. I don't want him to step out of his personality to try to be a leader like Jair was. And then in the secondary, D's providing us a lot of leadership as far as how to work hard and how to go through everything. But I do think that's something that we need to find out that's going to show up on the practice field, not just in the weight room. It's a little different right now because you're doing all this just by what's going on in the weight room.
How has Puma handled the transition so far, and what do you want to see from him these next couple of months?
Yeah, I think he's handled it great. He's very dedicated. I thought he had a good winter to start with. That he worked extremely hard on learning and his knowledge and watching the teams that we play against. I thought in spring ball that he was very focused, provided leadership. We got his step a little quicker. He's doing things a little bit quicker, and but I kind of just sitting back watching him now is that he feels comfortable in the leadership role. He's getting guys together to break when they go to the next group, or he's in the weight room calling everybody up and telling guys to pick it up when they need to pick it up. So that's been kind of fun to watch him do that. But he needs to go out and play the game the way a quarterback needs to. Be perfect in the run game, get your protection set, stand in there and compete, get hit in the chin and complete passes.
What did you like about what he did in the spring game when you went back and looked at the film?
Yeah, I liked a lot what he did, and then he had two, turnovers, which obviously we can't do in that first game. I think the biggest thing for us in the first game is take care of the ball and be able to move the ball.
How different is it with that first game? I mean, you've had big first games from when you played Kentucky or Miami in the ACC first game, but to have the defending national champ.
Yeah, we got to approach it like it's no different than those games. And the number one thing that we've got to be able to do is work hard enough and believe in each other so that we take the field truly believing that we're going to win the game. I've seen that like when we played them when I was at Arkansas. We wanted to believe one year we were going to beat them, but when you don't believe it, truly believe it, you drop the pass that you normally caught. You slip and fall. You don't throw the ball exact the same curl route you practiced every day in practice. All of a sudden now is short or long, and then we had years where we really believed it and came out and executed and did everything right and was right there in a position to win the game. So that's the thing we got to make sure our players understand is that we don't have to do anything extraordinary to beat them. We just have to play football the way it's supposed to be played and truly believe we can win the game. It correlated a little bit to the first time that we went down to Miami in the Orange Bowl. That team took the field believing they were going to win the game and played aggressive and played hard the entire game.
Bobby, when you talked, what conversations did you have with Isaac and Lynn before they asked for their release? And did you get any sense for why they decided to transfer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I talk to everybody. That's one of the things that I do after spring ball is I bring everyone in, have an individual meeting for them. Isaac gave us everything that he had in the program and, graduated, played well when he got in there. I think he wanted to find a place, where he graduates and goes and has a starting role as a senior. So, wished him the best, and, I'm hoping he finds that place that he needs to go. So.
And Lynn, too, similar?
Yeah, I mean, different guys transfer for different reasons, and, obviously that's different than Isaac's.
Is your position on Jarvis Brent still to wait and see how the process plays out?
Yeah, I mean, there are some things we're working through right now, and we do have another summer school session that starts up in July, so we'll kind of see where we are then.
You mentioned your confidence in the tight end spot. What specifically about that spot gives you confidence?
Well, Kamari coming back and playing really well at the end of the year. Kamari's got one of those personalities a little bit like Jair and Lamar, where guys come to him. He's very, very well liked and can help people play better. He just needs to learn how to play faster all the time. He's big and physical, but he needs to play faster through his routes, faster out of his break, faster after catching the ball to run with it. I think Mickey Crum had as good a spring as he's ever had, and Mickey's a very, very capable player. He's been where he's had really good games, blocked really well, and caught the ball really well, made a lot of plays for us. He just hasn't been able to be as consistent as you would like, and that's what he's working hard on. And then Jordan had his best spring. He came back from May. He went home at May, which he was always nervous about letting guys go home at May, especially guys that have shown they like to eat a lot. And the weight can come on quickly, and then going home to see mom. But he came back in great shape, which shows me he was very dedicated. He's right at 250 pounds, where a year ago I think he came back at over 260. And he's a very, very talented guy. Run, catch, run routes, catch the ball. He just has to be consistent in understanding the schemes and not making mental mistakes.
There's reports that there could be 3 new bowl games in 2020, making it 43 total. Do you think it's going to get ridiculous with how many bowl games there are?
There's 3 new ones?
Potentially. Yeah.
Where at?
Chicago.
ACC.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
ACC, Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
pretty cool.
Never too many?
I mean, it's kind of just what it is, It's different than the old days, but so is everything else, We got cell phones, we got stupid text messages. I mean, everything's different. So why shouldn't the bowl games be any different? You know what I mean? So.
Well, we go back to recruiting. To have Pete's been here a couple of years in that role, to have him kind of go through that, but to have Richard, to have 2 former players in that role, how big is that moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's huge for our program. Pete's shown that he does a great job. What I like about both of them is they've both coached on the field. Both of them really understand the game. They have strong opinions. I think that's one of the biggest things in that role is that you're not afraid to tell the head coach, we should offer him. He's a good enough player. We need to offer him. Or, no, we shouldn't offer him. I like their strong personal beliefs and that and their courage to speak up and say what they believe, no matter who's in the room, no matter what assistant coaches are in there, head coaches in there, whatever. They both believe in what they believe in, so that's great to see. Richard's going to be awesome at it. And he's very experienced. He coached for me and obviously played, but he's a true Cardinal too. He really loves the city of Louisville and loves being back here, so that's great to have.
Also on the recruiting side, I think you talked before about this upcoming 2019 class is a lot of good local prospects in it. How have you kind of allocated your resources or spent the focus on that?
Oh, we worked hard at it all spring, and certainly had our area coach in their school in the spring, and then their position coach got there too. So we've had a number of kids over to camp. I think one of the things that you're seeing, like the new bowl games and the new video games or whatever, is it's harder now to get juniors to summer camps. That's something that's been a little bit harder. They like to go to these showcase things where they attach stars to and things like that. So, I used to love summer camp when you would bring guys in and you'd have them for an entire week. You got to coach them in the morning, coach them in the afternoon. At night you would do some meetings, let them go to the swimming pool. I all love the swimming pool as much as the practice field. Stay in the dorm, get up the next morning and do it again. I felt like you really made a difference in young guys Now it's all about in and out. They come in for a day or half a day, and it seems more about the recruiting than the getting better. So I'm not a real fan of that, but it is what it is. So we've tried to adjust and change things up. I'm looking forward to the Friday night thing we got. We got the little kids in here today, which is fun. They're having a good time. There's 150 little guys from, it's supposed to be first grade through fourth grade, but there's a few younger ones than that in there, and they're having a really good time, and our coaches are having fun. Then the next 2 days are the middle school guys, so it's good. We're working hard at that, and then our coaches will get a little vacation and then come back in July and get back at it.
How do you feel like you guys did picking up a new defense in the spring, and then what kind of work can you do over the summer?
Yeah, I thought they did a really nice job of it. We made some mistakes, obviously. Sometimes you learn more from a mistake than you do from doing things right. Coach Coughlin never believed in that. When I worked for him, he was like, he wanted every play perfect, But sometimes if you take it the right way, I made that mistake, and I'll like a Gary Barnage used to tell me, I'll never make that mistake again. He was one of the funnest guys to coach because he was so driven, and I said to him, yeah, okay, Gary, and he got mad at me. He said, no, Coach, I'm telling you, I'll never make that mistake again. I kind of laughed it off at the first time, but then I said, okay, show me, and he did. So we did make some mistakes, but I thought they did a good job of learning. I thought they did a good job of understanding what we wanted to do schematically, and then what our players allowed us to do schematically. So with the adjustment even during spring ball of, hey, this is going to be good for us, this not so much right now, I thought was something I was really happy to see, and see our staff and the input. And I really like what our coaches are doing defensively, so I think it'll help.
Bobby, do you and the team pay much attention to preseason rankings?
No. Mm-mm. I mean, I don't, but I'm sure our players do. They probably see everything. I've always believed this, that preseason rankings are based in how you finish the season and who you got coming back. But it is, if you kept track on how the preseason rankings, how things always played out, they're probably a lot different.
State recruiting, it seems like it's really spiking this year, next year. Do you see that just as a fluctuation, or is it a growing trend for
The what?
that with in-state kids? It seems like it's really risen as far as Power 5 talent for this year, next year. You think it's...
Yeah, we kind of saw this, 3 years ago, that this freshman class 3 years ago, they were really good, and then there's a good class behind them. I think it it goes in cycles like that, but I think here in the next years we're going to have really good players in the state.
How key do you think that is to have homegrown talent?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's important to us. I think it helps your crowd, it helps your pride. One thing about the University of Louisville, we're always going to have players from outside our state, just because of numbers. Simply because of numbers, how many players there are, and I think we do a good job of everybody understanding that, and everybody comes together. We got a group of kids from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Kentucky, and they all melt together and become a family. So that's something that we understand is going to always happen, just because the numbers.
What's your least favorite video game your players are playing?
I don't even know the video games. I honestly have never played one, so.
You don't see on Fortnite or anything like that?
No, but I've heard that name. I had a kid yesterday tell me that he was playing Fortnite, so I said, okay, good. I'm really getting old, aren't I?
Bobby, have you been able to talk to Lamar and give him any advice?
No, I haven't got a hold of him. We've had some exchange texts back and forth a little bit and all that, but that's not unusual. They're very busy. We're very busy, so. We did have some guys from there reach out to us, though, and said he was doing a really good job.
Trayshawn Smith, is he still...
He's not full speed. He's doing some running, some change of directions. He's the one I worry about the most, as far as the fact that I think he'll be ready for camp, but when he goes to camp, that's when he's going to experience the pain and the swelling and those issues that go with the rehab. It's always good to have that done prior to going to practice. Now, it didn't bother Day Williams last year any. I never seen anyone handle it like he did. It was like, really, you know. So hopefully Trayshawn can do that too. But I did see him run and change directions and do some things that I didn't know he was quite at that stage just yet. That was good to see. He looked good doing it.
All right, we're gonna bring up Colby, Coach K, and Nick.